really clean look. And then we've got the Williams Unplugged harnesses, and we've got the Unplugged 4-point roll bar installed here to attach the harnesses and to keep everything safe and happy.
What's going on, everyone? Todd from PlaidAF, and I'm here with Jordan Priestley from ReVolting Performance and
JDP Motorsports.
So we just met here at the track down here at UMC in Utah. I came down with NASA for a couple-day event, and Jordan here does a ton of stuff with Tesla. And so he has a really dialed in Model 3. I asked if he would run through it and explain just everything he's done to it and how it runs and how he's improved it. And sorry for the background noise, but we are at a racetrack, so there's a lot of vehicles out here. So Jordan, if you want to take it away and just start walking us through this, and
sure.
You know, maybe even better than that, just a brief background of how you got into automotive stuff, or like what you do and how you got into the EVs.
Sure. So I've been building, JDP Motorsports has been around for 15 years now. We specialize primarily in late model General Motors vehicles. Over the last few years, as everybody knows, the EV stuff's kind of started to gain popularity, and knowing kind of the direction that all the automakers are going in and whatnot, we've kind of decided to be an early adopter in these platforms. So we created ReVolting Performance. And basically what we're doing is just like we do with all of our GM platforms, is we take all of the components that are available for the cars, and we test everything that we can find, and we find the best combinations of parts and test them, obviously, and then create what we believe to be the ultimate packages. This is our Model 3 named Matilda. Just kind of a really quick backstory on that name. When we were thinking of names for our EV business, we thought, well, ReVolting might be kind of a cool name. So my wife, Amy, she Googled ReVolting Performance, and what came up was a play called Matilda, and basically, apparently it was a terrible, performance. So they called it ReVolting Performance. So that's how this car actually got its name, and I name all of our cars. It's just something I do. They all have their own personalities, and it's fun. But so this is Matilda. It's a 2021 Model 3 Performance. We've gone through various suspension combinations, various wheel and tire combos. We've tested different brake combinations, and we've kind of come to a really, really good setup that we're happy with at this point in time. We're running a bunch of unplugged suspension components. We've got all their billet arms, their billet adjustable upper arm. We are currently running a KW coilover on the car. We are going to a JRI double adjustable. We're kind of in the final stages of development on that shock, and that will be kind of the next generation or the next step in evolution for this car. And I think that at that point, we're probably going to be capped out on what we're going to do suspension-wise. The car is really fantastic, to be honest with you. So we're pretty close on our suspension packages. We've worked in conjunction with Essex and AP Racing to create a big brake package for this car as well. One of the big weak links in this car, or any of the Teslas, to be honest with you, is the braking systems. So we've spent a lot of time doing R&D and developing these brake packages to really, take the performance of the car to more of a complete performance package versus just, everybody knows these have amazing acceleration, but they don't stop and they don't handle very well. So we're not focused on power at this point in time. We're mainly focusing on the chassis and the the handling and the braking. And this is probably the only Model 3 that I'm aware of that's running an Essex kit. We've developed our own emergency brake package for it. Basically, the e-brake is park on this car. So we got with our friends at Willwood, and we got their electronic e-brake caliper. And then we fabricated or machined all the bracketry to mount that to the car. We integrated it into the car so it's seamless. The car goes into park just like a stock car. You would never even know this car had a different brake kit on it unless you looked at it. So flawless integration on that side of things. We've worked with our friends at Forgeline for many years, and last year we were running a 275 on a 18 by 10. And fresh for this event, we've actually gone to a 19 by 11 square, and we're running a 305 3019 under the factory fenders. There's no poke, there's no bulging, it's perfect fitment. And yesterday in the SCCA Autocross they have up here, we finished first by a little over a second overall. And today on the road course, we've had a pretty solid outing. So I'd say that the 275 to 305 was a humongous jump. And the fact we're able to package it under the factory fender is another big step forward in our development of this platform.
So, quick question. Was it hard to get a 305 under this? I mean, that's obviously running negative camber up front.
Yes.
So if you put like stock camber in there, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, with stock camber, you're poking. This is definitely a track spec package. This would be used for track use only, really, or if it's something you're just driving to and from the track and racing or autocrossing, then it'll be fine. But for a street car, we're running 4.5 degrees of negative camber in the front right now. We're running 3.5 degrees in the rear. But if you look at the tires, you're going to see that we're right on the edge of the wear mark. So we're not running too much camber. We're right on the money. We did a bunch of tire temp testing this weekend, and our cross temperatures are money. So, you wouldn't have been able to tell me before we tried this that 4.5 degrees of camber wouldn't have been too much. But based on what we found this weekend, it's actually the perfect amount. And we may try to go with a little bit more. The only way we're able to accomplish that, though, is with that unplugged upper control arm. We've used various other control arms through our testing process, and we couldn't get near this camber out of those other arms out there. And Unplugged by far has the best upper arm for this platform. Interior-wise, we got with our friends at Unplugged Performance, and we went with their Sparco carbon QRT seat. And we opted for the Plaid inserts because I just think that they're cool. They just look cool. This isn't a Plaid. I'm not trying to be a Plaid with this car, but it just fits. I like it. And then it's got the suede, the Alcantara finish, and they embroider Tesla in the headrest, so it's just a really clean look. And then we've got the Williams Unplugged harnesses, and we've got the Unplugged 4-point roll bar installed here to attach the harnesses and to keep everything safe and happy. There's really nothing more important for a track car or a car that you're competing in than to have the proper safety equipment in the car. I really feel like it just really improves your driving ability to be planted in the seat and just to feel that comfort when you're really hauling the mail. Those are actually the first version of Unplugged seat mounts. They're raw uncoated, but we got those before SEMA last year. And another unique thing about this car is we actually run the Optima Ultimate Street Car Series. So it's a televised series on MAV TV. I've been doing it since 2014. We started in a 5th gen Camaro, went to a 6th gen Camaro, then a C7 Corvette, and now last year we competed in this car. We actually finished 2nd overall in the autocross, 2nd overall in the speed stop. We ended up 16th in the road course, and then on the design and engineering we got kind of penalized just because we don't have a lot of bling stuff on the car that they were looking for. It's kind of a subjective part of the series, but my point to that is that we were the highest finishing EV in series history. We finished 7th overall against 100 of the best street cars in the country with a car that we had just barely started developing. So this year we're really excited. We're going to Sonoma next weekend for the second event of the 2022 season of Ultimate Street Car Series, and I really think we're going to have something for them with this car.
Well, thanks for going through a review of this. So it's funny because Kirk over at Unplugged Performance has been telling me about all the adjustable suspension stuff and the upper control arm. I've tracked my car 5 times, and now that I'm getting more into it and realizing that I want to get more performance out of it because I'm seeing where some of those weaknesses are. And then after talking to this guy, sorry, Kirk, that you built a foundation, and then after talking with him, I'm like, okay, I'm doing it. So I'm ordering that pretty much tomorrow. Once that comes in, we're trying to coordinate something. He's out in Sandy, Utah right now. This shop right now is their trackside shop. He has a full shop in Sandy, Utah as well. And so we're coordinating it so I can get all the stuff and come out here, do an install, and then basically what it's install, and then dialing it in, getting it aligned, and doing all of that.
Get the chassis set up and get everything ready to go. We're an Unplugged authorized distributor here in Utah, and we kind of cover the regional installations for them, so we're very familiar with the product. We own the Model 3, we've got a 2021 Plaid, and we have a Y Performance as well, so we're pretty heavily invested in these platforms and doing R&D to build them, so we're definitely looking forward to working with you and getting your car dialed in, kind of helping you progress through the ranks of getting into the track days and finding the weak links as you've already found some of them. With the rear brakes and things like that.
For sure. And then something too, as soon as we wrap this up, I want to pick your brain on wheels, because I think I'm gonna get some different wheels, and I'll post up my current setup for sale very soon. I'll be getting some new ones, probably wider, because we're running 11s, right?
We can do a 19 by 11 on the car, and then we'll be able to run either the 305/30 19 square, or we can do a 315/30 square.
Is that what you're planning on the Plaid?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Just doing 11s, and that's 11s because of the camber. It'll fit just fine.
It'll fit, yeah. Everybody thinks the biggest tire they can fit into the car is going to be awesome, The problem is if you put a 305 on a 10-inch wheel, what happens is you kind of squish the sidewall of the tire, and then you just end up getting this really lazy, lethargic reaction when you're trying to handle the car, of the thought that you want to, maximize the tire for the wheel that you have. And I'd rather have the sidewall be straight to stretched, because you just get a way better response out of it. So I see people put, 305s on 10-inch wheels, but it's just not the right way to do it. So when you're doing a dedicated track setup, and with the arms you're going to get from Unplugged, you're going to be able to have that adjustability in the camber. We'll be able to keep that tire under the fender, no problem.
And then the last question on the rear, you said that you're running -4 on the rear? Okay,
-3.5.
And is that something you can adjust quickly on the fly as well in the rear?
It's relatively easy. The front's going to be a lot easier with that new front upper control arm. The rear, like I was telling you earlier, we'll do kind of a compromised track street setup. Tesla's, their spec for the rear camber on the cars is around 2 degrees. So we'll probably keep you in like the 2.5 range in the back, so we don't have to mess with that. But then in the front, we'll do a street setup, and we'll measure the arm and the adjustments you need to make to the tow rods to get that toe back in check. And then you'll be able to tip it into the track alignment and then the track toe. And that's a relatively easy adjustment. The rear is a little more complicated, but yeah, we'll be able to do a great package that'll allow you to, dual purpose the car, because the reality is people that own these cars aren't going to be building dedicated track cars like we did with this one.
Right.
They're going to be driving them to work Monday through Friday and then coming out to the track or autocross to have fun with them on the weekend.
Sure.
And we want to set something up that allows us to do that easily.
Awesome. Cool. Well, I'm glad our paths crossed, and I look forward to working with you. So again, just shout out to ReVolting Performance out here in Utah. And we'll put the link to their shop and everything. So if you're around here or somewhere nearby, you need some work done on your Tesla, these are going to be the guys that are going to know how to do it. So with that said, if you haven't already, like, subscribe. We'll see you in the next video.